Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Lewis Speaks 2022, and I just want to talk a minute about people's journeys. It's really hard watching people go through their journey and seeing them make the same mistakes that you made and not being able to do anything about it. Just having to watch on the sidelines and try your best not to sound judgmental or overly critical because you don't want them to shut down. You don't want them to not come to you in their hour of need, should they decide to reach out to you for support, counsel, guidance, what have you. And it's hard seeing people go down their individual path. And I liken this to water, beautiful blue island water. On the surface, it looks so beautiful. But you know that water. You know that underneath that beautiful blue water is depth, is death at times. It's danger. It's full of sharks and other creatures that want to divest you of your blood. And you know this from experience because you swam in those waters. You know that on the surface you also were seduced by the beautiful blue. But when you got into that water, it nearly drowned you. And so you want to try and spare those you love the same agony, the same hurt, the same pain, but sometimes, just like you, they get seduced by the beautiful blue. And before you know it, they're out there trying to swim in those waters, getting chomped on by different sea creatures and different monsters. And you are powerless sometimes to do anything because they have to learn lessons. That's what life is all about, learning lessons. And so you have to allow people the space to learn lessons while at the same time hoping that they don't go out too far and swim out too far, because there have been people that have swam out too. They swam. They went the distance. They swam out so far, they lost their way. They got caught up in an undertow and they got swallowed. And so you're hoping that the people that you love, they don't do that. They don't swim out too far. And sometimes, it's unfortunate, but sometimes they skirt that close to the edge and they don't make it back. And it's scary. It's heavy on your heart. And all you can really do is pray. Pray for their protection. Pray for their wisdom. Pray for their transformation. Pray for their elevation. Pray that they gain an awareness and a knowledge and don't have to go too far. I love a lot of my family members, but I realize that with this family, we are some hard-headed fools. And coming from that lineage of hard-headedness, we don't learn sometimes until we feel it. And it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. But I've watched various members of my family go through so much agony and torment, unnecessary agony and torment. And I saw a lot of them just adversely affected. I had uncles who they just got swallowed up, especially the men in our family. The men in our family really struggle. They struggle to try to take root and take hold of salvation. They struggle. And many of them have died, and many of them had lifelong conditions that they had to manage as a result of their life choices. And it's just so difficult, and I'm no better. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I am 100% because I've had my periods and my episodes where I just didn't want to hear it. I didn't trust what other people had to say. I felt like they were trying to keep me from something, that they were trying to impose their own will and their own life onto my unique existence. I was rebellious. I didn't want to hear it. And I'm trying to ask myself, what would I have wanted to hear if or when I was in their same shoes, when I was green, new to the scene, wanting to experiment with certain things, wanting to find out about life? What could someone have told me in order to protect me? And to be honest, there's not much they could have said, because I was already dead set on doing what I wanted to do, because I already didn't trust certain people, and I already didn't feel like they understood. I just didn't think that they understood the gravity of what I was feeling. I felt like I'm experiencing this brand new feeling, and you just don't get it. You just don't understand what I'm feeling. Day and night, I'm just like tormented by these feelings, and you just don't get the gravity and the weight. And while they seemed to try and understand, they were good-natured, they just didn't get it. And so I went on my individual path, and I learned by trial and error. And a lot of times I got a lot of knocks. I got a lot of unnecessary problems as a result of my quest to try to find my identity. It's just funny how you try to find your identity and you end up losing yourself and not knowing who you are. You know, sometimes you go so far away in your search for your identity, you go so far away from home that you don't even know anymore who you are. But you initially start off trying to find out who you are. I'm definitely worried about some members of my family who have decided to go their own path and experiment and explore with different lifestyles, different beliefs. You know, I know that everybody is entitled to their journey. And like I said, I definitely am one who respects people's journey. That still does not stop me from being concerned and also being worried about certain choices that they make along the way as they journey on to try to find out their own purpose and individual life, you know? I just hope that I can be a resource and not somebody who is exploited. Because I think oftentimes all people try to exploit your concern too. They try to manipulate and get over and try to exploit your kindness and your good nature and your desire to want to try to help. Definitely. I think, to be honest, we are born with criminal minds. We as human beings are born with criminal minds, and this is why we are in bondage. You know, spiritually speaking, we are in bondage because we are born with these imperfect criminal minds, always looking to get over, always looking to try to circumvent. You know? And so this is why God says that we are good for nothing, not to hurt our feelings, not to say, oh, not to put us down and lower our self-esteem, but it's the truth. And what makes us good for nothing is because we're born with imperfection. And it is this imperfection that causes us to have these criminal minds, these broken, dented minds that try and always get over, run game, hustle, scam, scheme, you know? And so we need to be very aware of those tendencies, you know, and quite frankly, those who struggle with addiction, many of them have these ways of thinking, these criminal mindsets, you know, criminal thinking where they're always trying to manipulate, play, con, trick, deceive. And then some people, they really live for the con. They live for the con. They can't sleep at night unless they're doing somebody out of something. And so, quite frankly, I feel like sometimes we could be our own worst enemy. Sometimes we could be our best friend. But once again, if your conscience is not spiritually trained, this is the caveat. If you do not have a spiritually trained conscience, then your criminal mind will just continue to wreak havoc on other people's lives with no remorse. You know, it's really spirituality, the knowledge of God, the application of His word. That's key. Because you can know the word, but you don't apply it, it's useless. So it's the application of His word that makes us good, that makes us decent human beings. Because left to our own devices, the imperfection just eats at our good. It's just every single day, imperfection is trying to eat away our good. And you see that out in the world today. You see people that want to be good, they want to be kind, but it's their own imperfection that sometimes gets in the way. And so what we have to do, like diabetics have to take insulin, we need our daily word, our daily devotionals, our daily texts, our daily scriptures, our daily spiritual feeding to help inoculate us from the imperfection. Because if you just let your imperfection just run wild, it's going to wreak havoc on your life. And right now, in this present system of things, we are not perfect. We're not perfect. And that's okay for now. But as we work towards trying to gain God's favor, as we work towards trying to be acceptable people in His eyes, and trying to be good to one another, as we work towards that, right now, we are still criminal-minded. And so I say all that to say this, that you know something, it's hard out here. You love your family, you love your friends, you don't want them to go down wrong paths. You don't want them to go out there and dealing with people who are criminal-minded, who allow their imperfection to just consume them, consume their heart, consume their morals, consume it all. You don't want your family members to engage with people like that, but at the same time, it's part of their journey. You have to just kind of just fall back and apply love and care as you can. And that's hard, especially if you are a parent. Me, I'm not a parent, so I can only imagine what other parents who gave birth to children who are in their discovery phase, you know? Or, you know, even adopted parents, you know what I'm saying? All parents, you know? All caregivers, let me just put that out there. If you are a caregiver and you're seeing somebody out there that's doing something that you know could be dangerous, and you just have to just fall back because that's part of the journey, it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch. But unfortunately, we cannot control people. We cannot control their outcome. We cannot control their actions. We cannot control anything with them. All we can do is control ourselves. That's it. So my thing is this, I'm trying my best to reason with my family members. I try my best. I give my all. And then there comes a time when I just have to just fall back and just, you know, let it do what it do, you know? But it's still hard to watch. So I wish everybody out there a safe journey as they try to figure things out, because this world is so confusing sometimes. It has you lost. I see so many lost boys, lost men, lost girls, lost women, lost people, lost elderly people, you know, just trying to find the piece of life and not knowing where to look in a way that honors their own individuality. But sometimes I realize that sometimes your individuality can be the impediment to your happiness. Sometimes your desire for this individuality, you know, can actually work against you. And this is not to say, once again, not to take it out of context. This is not to say that you should be a follower. You should just blindly follow. But at the same time, in searching for who you are, don't forget your roots. Don't forget where you come from, especially your spiritual roots. We are spirit beings having a human experience. And that's why many of us struggle out here, because we're still trying to get in touch with the Spirit, and we have been separated, just badly separated from our divine source. And we keep on trying to clamber back, and I think this is why we struggle. Because there is the enemy out there who does not want us to gain salvation. He does not want us to return back to our spiritual roots. Because as long as we are out there, we're just we're prey. We're sitting ducks. We're easy targets. So the enemy, the devil, does not want us to return back home to our spiritual roots, because we are God's creation. And what better way to hurt God than to hurt his creation? Men out here forsaking the natural use of themselves, giving themselves over to just indiscriminate lust, and it feels good. It feels good, doesn't it? But what always feels good is not always good for you. And I had to learn that too, swimming in that beautiful blue water. What feels good, the nice coolness of the water, it's just a trap to lure you out there. And once you're lured out there, that's when the monsters come. And that's when reality sets in. And that's when you start to see that you were deceived. You were sold a faulty bill of goods, like this is a beautiful life, this is a beautiful, blue, wonderful, cool. You didn't see the sharks, you didn't see the stinging jellyfish, you didn't see all those creatures out there. And so I just wish I wish everyone, even myself, a safe return, because we are all works in progress on this journey, trying to get back home to our spiritual roots. And anybody that's saying that they're saved, or I'm saved, I'm sanctimonious, every day we can be seduced by the beautiful blue water. None of us is exempt. Every single day we are working to get back home to our spiritual roots. Even if we think we're home, chances are we're just, we're not always home. Even when we think we're home. So my thing is this: every single day you have to work towards getting home. Every single day is a step towards home. Every single day. And home is the journey. They think it's a destination. Well, home is not always a destination. It's a continuous journey that you have to work to get towards. And you ask yourself, well, am I ever going to be home? You will be home when this world becomes a beautiful paradise earth, as predicted in the scriptures at Revelations. That's when you will be home. But for now, every single day is one step towards being home. That's the journey. And it's hard because a lot of us, there's so many setbacks. So many setbacks. But I pray for all of us that are on a journey. I pray so much these days. I pray. Oh, I pray so much sometimes I think my forehead is going to crumble and my eyes are going to bleed. But I pray. And I think right now that's all we can really do, in addition to working out our faith and making sure we're taking the action steps. So I wish this video lands safely on your heart. Please, please be safe. Peace.